And we are back for Football No Filter. I am your host, Bruno Krak. I am with my two rivals from the Lisbon Circular, Segunda Circular. Estamos aqui com o Jorginho, the big winner of this weekend, and o champion, Nelson Litter. How you guys doing?
Chilling and Dylan.
Chilling. Chilling. Very good. All right, so we'll get right to it. Schedule for this past week was Passo Ferreira 0, Gil Vicente 2, Braga 2, Moreirense 1. I think they ended a losing streak of 9, or not, a winless streak of 9 games. Boa Vista 1, Portimonense 0, huge win for Portimonense. Farense 1, Tondela 0, huge win for Farense. The Lisbon Derby ended Benfica 4, Sporting 3, entertaining 7-goal game. Rio Ave 0, Porto 3, Famalicão 3, Nacional 0. Nacional is now officially in the second division. Nelson celebrated heavily this weekend because of it. It wasn't because of Sporting. Bolonense 0, Santa Clara 2, and Marítimo and Vitória Guimarães 0-0. The table ends with not ends, but ends for this week. Sporting 82, Porto 77, Benfica 73, Braga 63, Passo Ferreira 50, Guimarães and Santa Clara 43, Famalicão, Bolonense and Moreirense 40, Gil Vicente 39, Tondela 36, Marítimo 35, and now it gets hairy for Portimonense 34, Boa Vista 33, Rio Ave and Farense 31. Nacional, as I already said, has been relegated to the second division, 25 points. Guys, it comes down to the last week of the season, or the last match day of the season. 3 teams can all drop, maybe possibly, 3 teams could drop. Portimonense, Boa Vista, Rio Ave, 4. Portimonense, Boa Vista, Rio Ave, and Farense. Anyway, Portimonense drops. I'll start with you, George.
I think they have the magic number of 34, right? That we spoke about. So I think it'll be difficult. I think they're good. I think they're good.
But if Rio Ave or Farense win and Portimonense loses, they're all on 34 points.
And then it will be the head to head, right?
Exactly. And I really don't know the tiebreakers there.
I don't know the tiebreaker either, to be honest. But we could look that up real quick. Now,
yeah.
Boa Vista 33, Rio Ave 31, Farense 31. Nelson, I mean, what do you got here? This is a very tight race down at the bottom.
Based on the schedule for the last match day, I think you're looking at exactly where it's going to be. I think it's going to stay like that. The only one I see with a chance is Rio Ave, maybe, because they play Nacional on the road, and Nacional is completely done now. Maybe if somebody slips up, but Boa Vista slips up, or you know what I mean. But I think that's it. I think the way it is now, it's the way it's going to be at the end.
Well, I think I think all 3 teams have hard games.
I agree.
Well, I think that's what I was looking at. Braga plays Portimonense, so you give Braga the win. You have Santa Clara, Farense.
They haven't beat anybody. Well, they beat one team.
Yeah.
But I think Portimonense is home, right? Isn't Portimonense home?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I don't think that matters.
I can see Portimonense pull off a tie in that game and just call it, and that's it. That's all they do.
You have Farense, Santa Clara. Santa Clara needs to win to go to the Europa League.
That's what I'm saying. Farense has a very tough game on the road. That's on the road also.
Yeah.
Brutal.
And then you have Nacional Rio Ave.
Yeah, no, I think the way the standings are now, I think that's the way the standings are going to be when we speak again next Monday.
But Nelson, the one thing I don't agree with your statement, Rio Ave has to go to Nacional. We all know Nacional at home is much more complicated, and now they got nothing to play for. They got just spoiler. Hey, we're dropping, so are you type of attitude. Rio Ave has not looked good in a while. I don't see how this is a guaranteed win for Rio Ave.
No, I don't think it's a guaranteed win. I just think, based on everybody else's matches, I think Boa Vista will get 3 points. And
Gil Vicente?
Oh, they are.
I don't know about that.
At Gil Vicente.
It can be okay, like, but even if they get a point, like, see, that's the thing. Like, all the tiebreakers, it can be messy. It can be like 3 teams tied. Definitely, I can see that. I just think it's done. I think Portimonense will at least get the 1 point they need at home. Against Braga.
I don't think Portimonense needs any points. I think they're good.
Well, it depends on the tiebreakers, because we just said, like, if they lose to Braga and Rio Ave and Farense win, all of a sudden all three of them have 34. So now I don't know which way that goes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough.
It's a big mess down at the bottom. All we know is Nacional is done. That's about it. And Maritimo, with their point this past week, is safe. So unfortunately, you can't celebrate for 2 weekends in a row, Nelson, that you're gonna have two Madeira clubs drop into the second division.
I wanted that so bad. That's the one thing that pisses me off. Like, I wanted both of those teams gone, like, forever. Like, all the way to where Estrela de Amadora is, like, whatever division that is.
Lá nos distritais.
Oh,
Dude, I think I'm with Nelson. I think I didn't want to see Farense drop. I didn't want to see Rio Ave drop or Boavista drop, because I think especially Boavista's been through. Boavista's been screwed already. They've been screwed already. They were screwed already for a long time. So I don't think they deserve to. They deserve to drop. Portimonense, because they're Porto C. I can see them drop, but I'd love to see.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Nacional and Marítimo drop, because especially Marítimo, because they're just idiots. Those two presidents, those two clubs are just retarded. I'm sorry, they're just crazy.
and listen, if Rio Ave does finish where they at now, they still have a chance to stay up. You know what I mean? It's going to suck for Farense that they're going to have the same points as Rio Ave and not have that chance, and then, they done,
Well, remember, there's also a tiebreaker. Remember, the tiebreakers don't go into effect until the last game of the season. So we have to look up to see what the head-to-head is between Rio Ave and Farense. And if that's the case, then, then it's going to change some things.
Agree. I'll look that up real quick. Hold on. I'll look it up while you guys talk. Keep going.
All right. While you do that, we're going to go forward to the games, okay? So let's move to the schedule. We had the Lisbon Derby, Benfica Sporting, 4-3 for the home team. That was Benfica. We had, for Benfica, we had Leighton goal, Veríssimo, Tamendi, Vertonghen, Everton, Sublinha, Gonçalves, Weigl, Tarbat, Grimaldo, Pizzi, and Seferovic. For Sporting, we had Adan, Inácio, Coates, Mateus, Santos, Pereira, Mateus Luiz, Bragança, Mendes, Gonçalves, and Paulinho. George, you were the home team. How'd you see this one? Entertaining game, bro.
No, I think it was an entertaining game. I think a couple of things happened, right? I think Benfica had a really good performance, right? But when you go and you analyze it a little bit deeper, I think Sporting didn't start four of their starters, and especially the midfield dupla, which might have caused, I don't know if they meant to do it that way, just as an excuse if the score wasn't to their satisfaction. But it leaves some question, right? It leaves question as far as what if they had started those four players. But either way, I think Benfica had a really good game. I think Benfica should have been up 3-4-0 at the end of the first half. And then in the second half, I just think they, like JJ said, I don't think Benfica knows how to play with a. Benfica doesn't know how to take their foot out of the accelerator when they're doing well, and we suffered a couple of silly goals that at the end of the game put our win in it threatened our win. I think Sporting. Look, I gotta give credit to Sporting. Coming back from 3 goals down twice in the game, and if it wasn't for a late crazy stop at the end of the game, they could have very well taken the tie. I think Everton Sublinha, he's back to playing exactly how he was playing in Brazil. Really good game. I think Tarabt, I don't know why Tarabt is so not liked by Benfiquistas. I think he's a hard worker. He's one of those players that sweats the shirt. And as soon as he came out of the game, we suffered 2 goals. Coincidence? No coincidence. I think it's not a coincidence that he was out of the game, and we couldn't connect lines. We couldn't connect passes. Lost a lot of balls in the midfield, causing us to some issues on transition, and suffered a couple of goals. But overall, look, I think it was a like I heard some commentators and even coaches, saying I think it was a game that deserved to have fans in the stadium. It was an entertaining game. Would have Sporting played the same way if the 3 points meant something to them? I don't think Ruben Amorim would have played the same way. I think Ruben Amorim would have played, his conservative, soccer like he played at Dragão. But for us, really doesn't matter how he would play. We did what we were supposed to do to protect our home, our house. So I like the score.
Mr. Nelson Lita, how about you?
Well, I'll take a different approach. Like I want Ruben Amorim fired. I hate that coach. I don't want him to coach my team anymore. It's not acceptable to lose a game. I will not tolerate that shit in my club. I want him fired. So, first of all, you want to make changes to the lineup, I'm okay with that. That was not the game to make the changes. You want to make changes, you do the changes. Last game of the season at home against Maritimo. You do not leave Palhinha on the bench. I can live without João Mario, but you do not leave Palhinha on the bench. He was actually, I think he just got the award for best midfield of the month. The guy's been a beast in the middle. I mean, he gets like ele corta tantas bolas naquele meio campo, like he stops so many attacking plays from the other team that I think he had to play. And you notice that, like halftime, he puts him in and he puts João Mario in because he was afraid to get embarrassed. He didn't want to lose 6-7-1, so he put those 2 guys in. Now the first half, Benfica played an amazing first half. The first goal, when Nuno Mendes went after the ball. If you go review that play, like Seferovic grabs him and pushes him, like to try to prevent him from getting to the ball, and I think he definitely influenced the play. But whatever, the ref did it that way. I'll live with it. Second half, I think Sporting was a lot better, especially after the changes that they made. The penalty is a completely dumb penalty. I mean, the guy had, the guy tinha posição no gajo Benfica, and I don't know what he was trying to do. I know he was trying to, block the player so the ball would go by the end line. But it was just dumb. Like either kick the ball out or do whatever. But like you cannot let that guy get in front of you and then tackle him. So it's definitely a penalty. I have an issue with that. But it's a completely dumb penalty that should never. A professional should never allow a penalty like that. Then we had our chances. Made it 4-3. And when it was 4-3, we hit the, great save by Elton that the ball hit the post. And that game could have been 4-4. The same way it could have been 5-3 at the end, 6-3, so I accept the result. I don't like, and I'm just not happy that Ruben Amorim did what he did in this game. You want to make changes. You want to give the kids a chance. You want to put different players in there. Do me a favor. Eu não gosto de perder o Benfica. Like, I don't share what it is. I don't like that. So you have to go in there to try to win the game, not lose the game. And by making those changes in the lineup, that shows me that you probably, almost, I don't want to say, but almost like you didn't mind losing in hopes that Porto would still get caught by you.
Oh, come on, you two with that nonsense.
I'm not saying you did it on purpose, George. I'm just saying.
Come on.
It's a bad.
We all know that the standings, they were already já estava escrito. Porto's not going to lose 2 games. Come on.
I agree with you. I just don't think I don't think that's the game to leave Palhinha on the bench. At least Palhinha.
No, I don't. No, I don't think any derby is the game to make those type of changes. If anybody was to make those changes, you know quem é que estava em direito de fazer era o Benfica because they have the final of the Taça on Sunday.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So I didn't like.
It's.
I was not cool with that. I didn't think that was.
And Ruben Amorim was very lucky because he could have really got embarrassed. Look, the PK on who was the player, dude? Yeah, the PK that we that quote unquote we committed in the second half. I forget who was the player, but if you really look at it, he actually touches the ball with the bottom of his foot because the ball spins. That's not a PK. I don't know how the hell. I don't know what the hell.
It was Verissimo.
Verissimo. That's right. I don't know what the hell these VAR referees are doing, dude. Because for a referee to make a mistake on the field without a VAR, it's understandable. But when you stop the game, and these people are their only job is to look at a freaking TV and have replays 5 or 6 times, and you can't capture what a fan is capturing watching the game. There's a problem with that, and that's not only in Portugal. There's issues everywhere. There's issues in Spain. There's a huge controversy with VAR and what's happening over there. And in Portugal, it's the same thing. You have also 2 plays that are red cards or double yellows that the referee doesn't call. Ruben Amorim could have really done really bad a really bad made Sporting look really bad right after he won a title. But again, for Sporting and nem por mais ou por menos the score wasn't you didn't need any points, but you could still, it's a derby. You still have to. It's a derby, and on the other hand, whatever the score was could have influence on the overall standings, right? Because if something was to happen, which I don't think it would ever happen, Porto losing 2 games, but the whole point of it is that there's still that chance, right? There's still that chance that something happens to Porto. So you have to be honorable, and you have to play the game for the game, because that particular score can affect other teams and other what's the word, other goals, right? So I just didn't agree with that, and if it was my team doing the same thing, I would not agree with it. I like things to be done the right way.
Well, I mean, it was definitely an entertaining game. I kind of agree with you, George, on the penalty. I don't think it was a penalty. When Verissimo gets...
Hold on. Is there an earthquake? My chair is shaking. I almost fell off my chair.
I don't believe that there was.
No, but you saw what I saw, right? You saw the bottom of the foot touching the ball. So,
but he touched the ball. There was contact immediately after. I mean, it's a tough call. I wouldn't have called it. I understand why it's called, because there is contact after, but I'm okay with. I would be a little more okay if it wasn't called versus called. I'm hoping Juicebox Leal will say it was a flop, because everything for him is never a penalty. So I want to see if he's going to say it's a penalty.
But I'll tell you this though, Bruno. If it's a penalty, and it was called a penalty, then it's got to be a second yellow card.
Exactly, but that's exactly, but that's the whole point. And it's to me it wouldn't even be a second yellow card. To me, it would have been a red card because he's the last man. So that's the whole that's my whole point. But
they took that away though. You can't double punish the guy, so you cannot call a penalty and do the red card. You gotta unless it's like one tac violent. But I mean,
but it's the last man. He's the last man.
It just these refs, these VARs. It's so many bad calls.
It's not the refs, Nelson. That's the thing that pisses me off, is that now you're taking you're taking the responsibility out of the refs, and I think a lot of these refs they actually do it purposely. They're like, you know what? Let me not whistle because I have this backup referee that's on the VAR, and if something is wrong, he's just going to tell me that it's wrong. But the problem is that the VAR referees are worse than the freaking field referees. They're all horrible.
All right, George, but the field referee,
there's a reason.
Once he calls a
There's a
penalty,
reason.
then
Yeah.
he knows it's a yellow. You know what I mean? So
There's
he
a-
messed up too. Like,
There's a reason why we're using French referees. I think next season.
Hopefully there is, and hopefully they're good ones, not these third division guys that are there on an internship.
No, you know what? I don't really care if they're good or bad. I care about the fact that okay, they're outside referees. They're not affiliated to my team, your team, or Nelson's team. They're not affiliated to any team. And if they make the right call or if they make the wrong call, we are not going to be assuming that they're making that call because they're being paid or they're being what's the word? They're being influenced. You know what I mean? At least we take that out of the equation. Now it's you're either good or you're bad. But the way things are now in Portugal is that we're always thinking worst case scenario. We're always thinking, oh, this call is because they're being paid by Porto or they're being paid by Benfica. They're not being paid by Sporting because Sporting has no money. But it's a joke. VMOX, joke. But you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? At least you take that out of the equation.
I just hope next year when we're sitting here, like when we're talking about Sporting bicampeão, like I hope we're not talking about the refs. I hope we want it fair and square again, like this year, and without any outside help, because we don't need that shit. We don't need it. We've proven to the world that we don't need that. And that's
you got to Cristiano Ronaldo that he started shipping his cars back to Portugal. Então agora esquece.
He's definitely not staying in Juventus. He's definitely
not at all. He ain't staying at Juventus.
Is he shipping him to Elizabeth, New Jersey?
No, he shipped him. He's shipping him to Lisbon. That's for sure. I mean, the company was era uma companhia portuguesa. So
who's that? Who's that comment? The last comment on my jersey. I hate this stuff that you can't see who it is.
I don't know who it is, but I want to say it's Captain.
No, Captain wouldn't say something
Where's
like
the comments? I can't even see the comments.
Opa, estás com os olhos, pá. Estás a dormir, man. Estás a dormir, pá.
Who's this? I don't even know who these people are. What's up? Hold on a second.
Deixa eu ver aqui.
Oh, somebody actually believed that I want Ruben Amorim fired? Oh, that's funny.
É o Nuno.
Oh, it's Nuno. Tem que ser o tripeiro. Tem que ser o tripeiro. This is much better than the Dutch shirt.
I see this comment from Brian Neto. I completely disagree with this comment. VAR is ruining soccer. They should just get rid of it. Listen, if it wasn't for VAR in the Benfica Porto game, Porto would have lost 4-1 if it wasn't for VAR. So I mean, obviously, VAR there is definitely a lot of positives to it as long as it's done correctly. That game was done correctly. This game, George has an argument. I can see his point about the penalty in favor of Sporting. There's other calls that I thought that the VAR was fine. I mean, there's really not much to say. But in this particular case, it really comes down to discretion. It really comes down to the referee's discretion.
It takes away emotion out of the game. Like I love that. Like like we might love or we might hate it. Like Chelsea, the FA Cup final. Chelsea scores. Everybody's going crazy. They thought they tied the game. And they're celebrating for minutes. You know what I mean? They're jumping up and down. And then all of a sudden, hey, listen, offside, no goal. You know what I mean? So it does take away a lot of emotion from the game. I get that. But at the same time, if there was no VAR, I would have not celebrated the title this year. I know for a fact I would have not celebrated the title this year.
Why?
Huh?
Because Porto would have won if it wasn't for the VAR.
Because either Porto or Benfica would have won. Because then the refs can just fucking steal and it doesn't matter.
I don't think it was
But
that. It was the opposite.
you were helped a lot during the games during this year's games.
Oh, vai ver a Liga da Verdade. Fomos campeões tranquilos.
Não digas disso.
Oh my God!
Não
Aquele
digas
Sportingista,
isso.
aquele Sportingista.
Oh, ele não é sportinguista, vai também.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
No,
Yeah, Bruno, I
no.
already told you a million times he's
Não é
Sportingista.
nada, esse gajo é mais lampião do que tu, pá.
No, he's not. No, he's
10
not, dude.
vezes
He's not
mais,
Lampião.
100 vezes, quanto é que era?
He's
Quanto
not
é?
Lampião, bro. He's not
Mil vezes
Lampião.
mais. Esse gajo, o pai no
To
leirão,
you, everybody's is Lampião. Everybody that doesn't agree with Porto is Lampião.
okay, we'll agree on one thing, George. O gajo é antiportista. That's it. O gajo é portista.
Okay, he's not, but he's Sportingista. He's not Benfiquista. He's Sportingista.
Pois, olha ali. The bottom comment. Nelson, vais ver os jogos com diferença e faz as
Very
contas.
good. Like you guys gonna say all that? Like there was no games that you guys were not helped.
We're not saying that, Nelson. You're saying that you wouldn't have been.
Well, I'm saying
Dude, at the end of
we wouldn't. Like, and we've seen that in the past. Like, I mean, come on.
I don't think so. I think Sporting had a lot of power this year. Where in other years, Porto or Benfica would have had power. I think Sporting's had a lot of power outside the playing field. And it's okay. It's fine. Some years it's one club, the other years it's another. But you guys were helped. Look, just quads of red cards on elbows. You should have been out like 3-4 games. So and then he's not red card, and then he scores at the 94th minute. You know, once you calculate all that stuff, there's an argument there that you were helped because every team is helped. It's not only Benfica and Porto. Every team is helped throughout the year.
In May of 2026, when we're sitting here and Sporting is about to win 6 in a row, like we can.
Dude, this look. This is a soccer show. This is not a futsal show. This is a soccer show. Soccer. Not futsal, soccer.
Talking about that, another European Championship for Sporting.
Yeah, where are all those Bruno Carvalho fans now?
A lot of them still want him back. A lot of them still think this guy deserves no credit.
Yeah, because you know why? Because it's called stupid.
and I think that if the guy was still there, we probably would have no club left.
Thank you.
So,
Dude, he did a great brainwashing job, bro. Let me tell you, him and Orelhas, they should be in the museum of the brainwashers.
Just to cut you guys off real quick, going back to our previous conversation before the derby. So I have the breakdown of all the results. So for Portimonense Farense, Portimonense has the advantage.
Okay.
For Portimonense and Rio Ave has the advantage.
Wow.
For Portimonense and Boa Vista, actually, no, that's different. That goes to a different. They're actually tied. I got to see what the goal differential is.
Wow. I think it's gonna come down to that one, bro.
and Rio Ave Farense, I know Rio Ave has the advantage.
Rio Ave
I
has
think
the
it's
advantage.
I think it's gonna come down to Boa Vista.
Rio Ave Boa Vista, Rio Ave has the advantage.
Nah.
For Farense and Boa Vista, Farense has the advantage.
Damn, it's complicated, dude.
What about Benfica Porto campeão da segunda volta? Like, who has the advantage there right now? Benfica is in first, right?
Eu acho que they might qualify for Champions League.
Look,
Yeah.
look. The guy that's won the last 30 titles of Campeão de Inverno is fucking talking about Campeão de uma ronda. I swear to God, bro.
Your coach is talking about it, not me.
No. My coach didn't say anything. My coach was giving facts about points in the second half and the correlation with COVID. Right? You guys know exactly what he's talking about.
What's
Then
going to
you come
happen
up with this
when you guys
stupid.
play?
Then you come up with this stupid stuff, and then you wonder why Benfiquistas freaking hate you guys, and even Portistas now hate you guys because you guys have this Malone that is like bigger than the Atlantic Ocean, and you think now you're the best thing since sliced bread.
Listen. I can see your frustration the way you're talking.
My frustration with what? My
can see
frustration
it.
with I'm 37 versus 19 or 23. We're social distancing from you guys. You guys should continue preparing for the 2040 season and just stop with this one, with this joke. Prepare for the 2040 season. That's the next championship you guys have to worry about.
I'll make another prediction. So I've been right on my predictions.
Oh yeah, not when it comes to championships.
You're gonna play. You're gonna play 9 games in August. You're gonna play 9 games in August. If you, I mean, that's if you win Sunday, because, and I think you will. I think you'll beat Braga. But so you're gonna play 9 games in August. That shit is gonna be. Players are already gonna be tired. There's already. Jesus já tem os excuses todos for next season already. Like everything is ready for next.
Your question should be who's the next Lask. Who's the next Lask? You know, now it's not going to be just one Lask. Now it's going to be 4 Lasks that are going to whip your butt in the Champions League. And then I want to see what your excuse is going to be then.
All right, we'll see.
Culpa do Covid.
Yeah, that's what I want to see then.
I do think Sporting needs to get more players. If they want to,
You're going to sell players.
And you know something that Sporting issues might not know, and Bruno Mourinho really didn't speak about it, but he should. There's one person that you guys should really thank for this championship, and Bruno Mourinho is not going to say it. Maybe Bruno will say it because he's very familiar with this person. But on the contratações, don't come and thank Viana and Varandas. None of them understand anything about soccer. There's one person that's not even affiliated with the club that these guys should really thank for this championship. Thank you.
Not disagreeing with you there, George.
No, but these people, they won't even know what he has to do with that.
I don't think a lot of
ask Nelson. Ask Nelson why we're talking about that.
No, but to be all honest with you, Nelson, I don't think a lot of Sportingistas know who he even is.
I know who he is, but I don't know what the hell he has to do with these players. But
you don't know what he has to do with it. So I'm going to explain to you. I'll explain to you a little bit. Antero Henriques is Ruben Amorim's father-in-law.
Okay.
I don't think it's father-in-law. I think it's his father-in-law.
Antero Henriques is Ruben Amorim's father-in-law.
Okay.
Antero Henriques. There's a lot of these contratações. You'll see a commission on the contratação in the CMVM that goes to Ruben Amorim or goes to a group there. That's Antero Henriques. Antero Henriques is the Fadals, the Porros, all these guys, the Poch, not the Poch, but more the international players.
What the Nuno Santos? He convinced both of them to come to Sporting.
So he's involved in these contratações. Antero Henriques, the director desportivo for Porto for many years, then the director desportivo for PSG.
Yeah, I know exactly who the guy is, but but you guys got Jorge Mendes. I mean,
but that's not what we're saying. Jorge Mendes, everybody knows that Jorge Mendes does business with Benfica. Antero Henriques.
So you're saying
Antero Henriques is Ruben Amorim's father-in-law. Antero Henriques brought players to Sporting.
So we got lucky there. Okay. No big deal. No.
No. Listen, I'm not saying it's a big deal. I'm just giving you some knowledge.
No, I get it.
Probably 99.9% of Sportingistas. Some of our guys over here on the podcast are commenting. They don't know that correlation between Ruben Amorim and Antero Henriques.
Well, then. Maybe I still have some connections at PSG, and he gets his Mbappe and Neymar for next year for Champions League.
You'd have to sell freaking 10 Alvalades.
Não, hoje não vi nada.
Hoje teve a beber muito Macallan, acho que sim. Aquela cerveja de ontem devia estar estragada.
Estou a beber desde terça-feira, por amor de Deus. I was drinking for how many days is that? I don't even know how many days. 6 days in a row. Holy shit! No, like forget it, dude. Like
Where's that come?
no, my body today said, "Yo, one more drink and you're gonna fucking be in the hospital." So like, fucking chill out. I was
Well,
fucking.
Did you work for?
Hold on a second, George. Didn't he tell it last week that his doctor said not to drink any more beer?
Yeah, he did. My doctor did.
I didn't hear that. Yeah, you're not supposed to drink while you're pregnant. So I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, all I know is like, man, if my doctor saw me today, he'd be like, all right, like, you need
Nelson,
an
you're
emergency.
gonna have more kids, Nelson?
Huh?
You giving us breaking news? You could have more kids?
Fuck that. No, I'm done with it. I'm done with that. I'm done with that too. No more kids.
And now it's easy. Now it's laser. They don't even cut you anymore.
Hey, Jesus.
Agora é só campeonatos. No more kids. Só campeonatos.
The futsal,
man.
futsal.
Listen, whatever. For a small team like some of you claim, it was definitely a good year for the small team.
What are you talking about? A
Overall.
small team. Você já que tem o síndrome de inferioridade.
We don't.
Nobody
I've been
says
saying on the
anything else.
show. I've been saying on the show that we are the second team in Europe with most titles overall. I keep saying that, but a lot of people, like, I even saw like somebody posted a graph the other day, like even in the last couple years, like in the last, I think it was the last 5 years, like European titles in all the sports. Sporting has a big lead, like, but even Porto has like de bilhar de bolso caralho, like like, and Benfica is 10 years ahead of everybody. So go figure that one out.
10 years ahead of what? What are you talking about?
Well, no, well, when Orelha said that they had 10 years
Dude,
ahead.
Orelhas has Alzheimer's. You can't take anything that he says.
I saw the deposition that he had or whatever it was for
I saw it too. The 62%. So I should watch it a little bit.
Oh man,
Well, is that an indirect comment to Luis Teixeira, George?
That's a direct comment to any Benfiquista.
that video that Brandon posted today on the group? If you guys want to laugh for 16 minutes, please go watch that. I was
For 60 minutes. That's a
60
lot of
minutes.
laughter.
Oh, dude, I was driving home and I was watching that, dude. I'm surprised I didn't crash the car. That shit is that's the funniest shit ever, dude.
I
gotta
didn't watch it. I have to go watch it because I
60
didn't watch it yet.
6-0, Nelson. 6-0?
No, 1-6.
Oh, 1-16. Okay, 16.
Yeah.
What's
gotta
it
watch
about?
Like it's a Portuguese show, some Portuguese show. I never watched that show before in my life, but it's almost like John Oliver on HBO type of thing. Like,
Right.
So he shows a little bit of the interview, and then the guy comments about the responses. You guys gonna crack up watching that shit, dude. It's fucking great material.
We gotta check that out. All right, let's quickly let's break down the Rio Ave Porto game. It was Kizek in goal, Borkovic, Santos, Monte, Pinto, Tarantini, Augusto, Amaral, Mané, Gelson, and Camacho. For Porto, it was Marchesín, Manafá, Pep, Leite, and João Mário, Otávio, Gruitch, Uribe, and Luis Diaz, Taremi, and Martinez. I gotta say that the first half was absolutely pitiful by Porto. That was one of the worst first halves that they put together. It was terrible. Rio Ave was much better. Rio Ave couldn't score. And that's basically why Rio Ave is in the position that they're in, because I think they're one of the lowest scoring teams in the league. I think they have 23 goals scored or something like that at home or something. Some horrible record. Second half, I'm pretty sure Cedric Conceição threw a couple of guys against the wall and a couple of chairs at people's heads, and they started playing. And things quickly turned around. Tony Martinez scored a very nice goal. Right after was Luis Diaz on a very beautiful play, and Sergio Oliveira shortly after. Três ali, 1, 2, 3, and that's pretty much the game. I mean, in terms of individual performances, I have to say Uribe, tremendous player. Gruitch, solid. Otávio was okay. Luis Diaz is starting to look better like the Luis Diaz of before. Tony Martinez and Taremi hook up very nicely up top. Tony Martinez is starting to really come around. Diogo Leite still makes a lot of mistakes. I don't know if he's going to be Porto material going forward. Manafá, horrible. João Mário. And one last thing I gotta say. Another game without Marega. That's 2 games in a row without Marega. We score 8 goals in 2 games. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder, Nelson. Nelson, take it away.
Well, I mean, I really didn't watch the game. I just saw the score. You know, like the score indicates probably that it was, you know, an easy game, even though the first half was
Horrible.
not. You know what I mean?
Hard.
As far as Marega, I mean, Marega's done. They already said he's not playing the last game. You know, like you know, they already said that. Like, you know, like and I know it's got everything to do with that day when he scored and he said, you know, he showed everybody that he does drugs. Remember when he was asking for drugs? Ever since he announced that he likes drugs, like, you know, they just put him to the side. No, I mean, I know what Porto is doing with him. I know what they're doing. At the same time, I don't like it. You know what I mean? It sucks. But at the same time, I don't like what he did either. You know what I mean? So it's like it goes both ways. You know, it goes both ways. But you know, the guy was there for years. I think he could have been handled a little bit better. You know.
But Nelson, hold on a second. Did you see what he said? Did you see what he wrote?
No, I did not see what he wrote. What did he write, Bruno?
Oh, he wrote or said, I don't know, it was in an interview somewhere where he wanted to leave Europe. He said he had offers from a lot of different countries, and he's sick and tired of the racism. He actually has been called an animal so many times that he actually started to think that he actually was an animal. That's what he said. I'm going by what he said, that he was absolutely tired of it and he wanted to leave Europe in general, and he wanted to go somewhere far away where at least he's going to be a little bit more respected. Hey, listen, I'm pretty sure it helps that he's getting paid $5 million a season.
Of course,
right?
And like I said, like listen, I think both sides could have handled it better. It sucks. It's a shitty situation, you know. But and as far as racism goes, listen, unfortunately, it's 2021. It's 2021, and it's a shame, but it's still alive and well. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate. And if he thinks Portugal is bad, oh my God, go to Russia. You know, and then you'll see, what racism like it really is. It's 10,000 times worse. You know, like than Portugal. It's a shame. It's a shame. Like there's no place. Forget soccer. There's no place in the world for that shit. Not you know, it's 2021, man, and the human generation keeps going backwards instead of going forwards, which is shameful. But yeah, it sucks. I mean, he's done. You know, of course, money's a key. 5 million, yeah, shit, I'll take it. You know. But
you go to Saudi Arabia and play for some 5 million
for 1 year?
No,
1 year, absolutely.
5 million a season for 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know if I could handle 3 seasons there because you allow how many women can you marry at the same time over there? Like I mean, all my shit would go for alimony.
Well, you sign a prenup. Do you need a lawyer?
I definitely would need a prenup over there. That's for fucking sure. Because
they don't believe in divorces, dude.
I know. No, so
you know what they do? If you get angry at a woman, usually it's the woman's fault.
So what you're saying is there's still some good countries in the world. Okay, I get it.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying how they view things.
But that's what I'm saying. See, like he talks about racism in Portugal, which I agree. What happened in Guimarães was shameful. I get all that. But now he's going to a country that they only allowed women to start driving like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like
right.
So it's like how ignorant can you be? You know. Okay, so now it's not with color, but it's with women, with gender. You know what I mean? So it's like,
there's another one. At least he's going to a Muslim country, so maybe he'll be more accepted. I think he's been accepted in Portugal. In terms of if it's his Muslim faith, I don't think that's the issue. I think it's more the bookers that he gets on a weekly basis or a daily basis. Who knows? He also did mention that he was not feeling appreciated by the Porto fan base. They were very critical of him. You know, he didn't feel like he was liked anymore. Blah blah blah. So, you know what? I'm happy that he went. Am I pleased that he did what he did? Unfortunately, he did it 30 jornadas too late, in my opinion. He should have signed with Al Hilal and announced it 30 jornadas later. We probably would have had a totally different season because obviously Marega this year, yeah, he defended a lot, but in terms of offensively, I need my strikers to score, not defend, and
Listen,
that's that.
he's a poor man's Lukaku. You know what I mean? Like he's got the body of Lukaku. He's as physical as Lukaku, but he's not even close to Lukaku when it comes to finishing. Simple as that.
That's a pretty good analogy, honestly. I mean, I'm not, I know that you're trying to be somewhat funny, but it's actually
No,
it's
I'm
actually
actually being honest. I'm actually being 100% there. Like, you know what I mean?
no.
Like,
My opinion. I share Bruno's opinion. I think he should have been gone a long time ago. I think the fault is of the Porto administration. They've been losing their touch over the years. They let these players abuse the club like not in years before. Years before, 2 years before your contract ends, you don't sign. You go sit in the B team, or you go sit and you go practice in Salgueiro Stadium or something like that, and you never wear that. You never wear that shirt again. I think the fact that Pinto Costa now is a little bit isolated, and what's his name? I forget his name. I'm sorry. The guy that died from COVID-19.
Reinaldo.
Renato Telsch. I think the fact that he's not there, it affects a lot of these decision makers. Marega should have been gone a long time ago when the West Ham offered $15-20 million for him, and they knew that he wasn't going to sign. 40 million in the match. Porto and all the Porto dirigents should go to Palestine or Jerusalem and start praying there in the limitações. It's at the end of the day, it's Porto's fault. It's not Marega's fault. Marega is going where the money is. It gets to a point when a player gets to 30 years old, 31 years old. You've seen it with Herrera. You've seen it with Tellis. Now you've seen it with Marega. Like, how many more players are you going to need before you realize Reyes? You've seen it with Reyes. How many more players are you going to need to realize that this is not the 90s or the 2000s or the 2010s? These players, they don't care. They don't care. They care about their pocket. They don't care about anything else. They care about their pocket. So if you allow a contract to get to a point where it's 2 years from ending and you can't renew it, and you still let these players come into your preseason overweight 5-10 pounds, because Marega looked like he was like Nelson Litton, like he was going to be giving birth in a couple of months, and you still let them.
Why are you body shaming Nelson, man?
You still let them play, and you don't sell them. It's your fault. It's nobody else's fault. It's your fault.
I agree.
It's your fault.
You cannot go into a season with players in the last year of contract. Either they renew, or you sell them. Simple as that.
Or you sit them freaking down. Benfica is doing that with. I never agreed to that, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's like that. Benfica is doing that to like 18-year-old kids that they won't sign, and they've been sitting down for like a year and a half.
Well, I don't blame them for that side. They know that they're not going to play on the A team with Jesus as coach. So it's like it doesn't matter.
Porto's always done that. Look what they did with Mickey Feher. They sat him down for a year and a half. He was practicing on his own. What did they do with Adriano that came from Braga to Porto? Adriano didn't want to resign. He didn't want to be sold. They sent some of Porto's friends to a discotheque and they beat him up. And they said, "Are you gonna leave or you're not gonna leave?"
Actually, George, you brought this up last week. You asked the player that re-signed to sell, right? Wasn't it Fernando?
What do you mean? Fernando. I don't know if it was Fernando or if it was Falcão. I know there was a player that was at the end of his contract.
Not Falcão.
It was at the end of his contract. He re-signed just to be sold a couple of months later, and I think he took like 10 or 15% out of the overall transfer fee. I forget who it was, dude. I forget who it was.
But and just to kind of go,
maybe it was Fernando. Maybe it was Fernando.
Mas houve lá uma coisa. Just to kind of support your theory, Fernando at that point was actually put aside until he resigned. It lasted for about a week, 2 at the most. But he was put aside. He did not train with the team. He was put all by himself, training all by himself until he resigned. He resigned within a week to
Yeah.
2 weeks, and then he was right back in the starting lineup.
Yeah, but see, I don't like that
for
either,
whatever
bro.
for whatever reason. I don't think it's Fernando, man. I think it was a higher a bigger player, man. I can't remember who it was. I
Telsch?
got to do some research. Who?
Telsch. It was Telsch. Didn't he resign?
No, not Telsch. No, it wasn't Telsch. It was somebody else. It was like 3-4 years ago, bro. It was a big player. I'm thinking Falcão. For whatever
No, it
reason, I'm thinking Falcão. I gotta take a look at it. But
It wasn't-
I'm thinking Falcão.
It was not Falcao. Well, and the Dragon Blood podcast that I do, we actually were talking about that because I've actually put a list out of all the players that could be leaving within a poll that could be leaving within the next year. The one that leads the poll is actually
It's
Corona.
gonna be
which-
Corona. Of
that
course,
might-
of course.
if they don't sell him this summer, but I mean now they're gonna take a hit on the value because he's been injured for a couple of weeks. So we don't know what
I
don't know the
I just
injury.
don't get. I just don't get that. Porto's like. I mean, they've been crazy hit on these
Well,
players.
it's like this, George. I do see both sides, right? You got a player, you offer him a contract. We can't sit here and say Porto never offered a contract to any of these guys. We know that
Porto answer. Yeah, of course they offer a contract.
they offer him, but the player doesn't choose to resign. Okay, so there's definitely a problem there where there's a disconnect, there's a miscommunication, whatever you want to call it. There's no agreement where there is an offer or multiple offers, and then the players accepting and to resign, so they're just going to walk for free. And then there's the other.
But Bruno, hold on. But you know why this happens, right?
I'm pretty sure it's the agents. They want more money.
Not the agents. I mean, we know why a player wants to go towards the end of the contract. Look, I speak about my team specifically, Zivkovic.
Okay.
Right? He did that crap in freaking, where was it? In Serbia,
Yeah.
right? He put his team against the ropes. He did it. Benfica paid him I think it was 6 or 7 million euros to sign him, right? Because he was free, right? So you have to pay him you don't pay the team, right? You're gonna have to pay him, right? Individually and his agents. And then he did the same thing to us when he went to PAOK. So that's what these guys play. That's what these guys do. These guys wait. They purposely go to end of contract because now you're a free player. But then they say, okay, I'm a free player, but now you were gonna pay 20 million euros or 30 million euros to Porto to buy me. Now I waited to end my contract. Now you don't have to pay Porto 30 million, but you're gonna give me 15 now. Or you're gonna give me 10. So everybody knows what they're doing.
This is actually a really good question. Okay. We got Nelson back. So this is a really good question. Do you think a coach has influence? You think a coach will tell the board, no, I'm not putting the guy aside. I'm playing him. Nelson, do you agree with this statement by Brandon? Yes or no?
Depends on the coach.
Agreed.
I think
So I'm going to step in. In my question, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Who pays the coach?
The club.
Who?
Not necessarily. I think I know where George is going with this, but go ahead. Continue.
Who pays the coach?
The team.
So who makes the final decision?
The final decision should come from the team. I get that. But I think some coaches have the power and the pull to say, I'll play this guy.
Why do they have the power and the pull?
Listen, you're paying George Jesus $5 million a year. If the guy is going to tell you that he wants to play a player, I mean,
I'm me as the president with less the heirs. I'm going to say you're paid to coach. I'm paid to make decisions on the club.
I
This
understand.
player is not going to resign. He's hurting the club purposely. I'm going to sit him down.
I get that, but now you just
And
ruined
if you have a problem, JJ, you could get out of your contract and I don't pay you 7 million, and you just
There you
walk
go.
out and you go sign with Sporting again.
But now you just ruin that relationship. And in other words, that now you might start losing games, and then
The
you have to
relationship,
fire the guy and pay the guy.
I just lost. I just ruined the relationship of a coach that walked out on me in January when his contract was due in June, and he started working for Sporting
Yeah,
6 months before his contract ended.
But you brought him back, so it's all love.
Yeah, well, but I'm just playing.
No,
I saw,
I,
I,
know,
saw,
and I get
I
both
saw,
sides. I think
I saw a podcast in another, in another channel, and I'll use the words of Bruno Carvalho. Let's just say this happened. Let's just say this happened.
but that's the same thing, and that's the thing. That's what I was trying to tell you. Like, it can go both ways. It can definitely backfire. You know what I mean? It can definitely backfire. But the same thing. It's the same thing with the players. If you don't want to play the players, even if the coach agrees not to play the players, at the same time, now you're letting other players know, hey guys, by the way, if you don't sign, if we don't do what we want, this is going to happen. We're not going to play you. And then players
But
might
look,
think twice about wanting to go there.
but Nelson, Sporting and Benfica. Okay, I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound stupid, but Porto had this reputation. Porto had the reputation of you're signing this contract,
Yes.
you're going to do right by the club in all cases. Not in Benfica, not in Sporting. We didn't have that reputation. The players, a lot of the times, they freaking decided what the hell was going to happen and what wasn't going to happen. But Bruno, being a diehard Porto fan, I'm sure he's going to agree with me. The reputation with Porto and with Pinto Costa is you're going to sign this contract, but you're going to do right by the club, right? And the players knew the club is going to do right by you, but you're going to do right by the club. If you don't do right by the club, we're going to make you pay for it. And that whole thing has been lost the last, I'd say, like 3 years at least. 3 years. That whole thing has been lost, where the players feel empowered. The players feel like we're going to do whatever the hell we want. And especially the outside players, the international players, the players coming from Mexico, Reyes, Herrera, Corona now, right? Then you have Maregas, you have Telus that tried to do it, but Porto was actually able, they were smart and they said, you know what, 20 million is better than zero, right? So you know what I mean? Porto's lost that edge where before players like there was like, I don't know what the word is, but like the players knew, like, this team is looking out for me. I'm going to look out for them. I hate to not remember who this player was that signed for like literally less than a month and then took a transfer, earning like 10 or 15% of the transfer fee, and he could have walked for free. But I'll do some research. That has been lost. That's been lost now.
Here's a good statement right here. Os jogadores, mas também as pessoas em geral, esquecem-se do ditado: não cuspa no prato que comeu, pois o mundo pode fazer você comer de novo.
I agree. And you know what? Look at Sporting. Nelson is hanging out over here with a hangover, but Nelson has some experience, right? And all of a sudden, all these players came out of the woodwork. Bruno Fernandes, Rui Patricio, Adrians, everybody's, everybody congratulating William Carvalho, everybody congratulating Sporting for their win, right? But in the time of need, what did you do? What did you do in the time of need? You walked out. You walked out of the club.
Adrian Silva falou que não se importava voltar para o Sporting. I don't want him back. I definitely don't want him back. I don't want any of those players back. Any of those players that left, I don't want to see any of them wearing the Sporting jersey.
But
Dude,
time out.
the only
Nelson,
one, dude, the
hold
only
on,
one,
George.
the only one that was worth something, and even I don't know, again, I don't have personally, I don't have the information, but if anything is, if it's true what he said, that he came back with the same contract, the only one that was man enough was Bruno Fernandes. He said he came back with the same contract that he had before. Do
Well,
I
hold on.
think that's the case? I don't think that's the case, but
Nelson, Adrian Silva didn't leave for free.
No, we ended up. No, we got money. We got paid for them, like 20 million or
Right.
whatever it was.
He left in January, but everything didn't work
Yeah,
out
but
for him.
I don't want him. I don't want Gelson Martins. I don't want Rafael Leão. I don't want Rui Patricio. I don't want any of those guys ever back on the team. Honestly, like I don't. I just do not. Like, good riddance. Goodbye. Enjoy your life, whatever you are. Like, Like
Bruno Rodriguez is arguing that he would never want Bruno Fernandes back.
no, I don't understand what he says. I'm wrong about Bruno Fernandes. I'm saying that Bruno Fernandes came out and said that he resigned under the same contract that he had before.
I don't
Yeah,
think.
but we know that wasn't true, right? I think that
Yeah,
definitely don't think.
Through the
exactly. I don't think that's true either. So, but I'm going based on what he said. If that's the case, if he came back and he re-signed under the same contract that he had before, all props to him. You know what I mean? But all the other ones, the Rafael Leões, we know what the deal is with Rafael Leão is, with Rui Patricio. Who else was it? William Carvalho.
Gelson.
Who else?
Gelson.
Gelson.
Gelson was sold,
Gelson.
for minimal amount.
Yes, that was before. You had Das Bost or whatever. He did the same thing. He came back, but I think it was under a new contract as well. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
these players have these players have no backbone. There's no backbone.
But a lot to blame for this is these agents and these father agents, and you know what I mean. Like, these guys, like, metem estas ideias na cabeça destes guys. Like,
Podence, look, another one by Juice Baxley. Podence was another one, another cracker that left and that never played, hardly played, and just left, just quit on the team. I think that's what they are. They're a bunch of quitters.
I agree.
Well, they saw an opportunity that they don't have to be. They can leave at a very cheap rate, and that's that.
They didn't think that Sporting would become like a powerhouse in the world, like we are now.
In tennis.
And what tennis? When we were in the Champions League next year, vais ficar com o melão do caralho, vais ver.
Youth league, maybe? Youth league, not even?
O melão. Na Champions League? 2 pontos, máximo.
Olha, já é mais 2 pontos que um clube que lá foi fez 0, por isso.
And I'm going to tell something to Bruno Rodrigues. I'm dude, I don't eat leitão for like 2 weeks. I feel like having a little leitão now.
I had some yesterday. It was really fucking good.
Lá dos Gatinhos? Is that where you had it?
No. Coimbra. I went to Coimbra yesterday.
Oh, Coimbra. Okay, all right.
Yeah, my father is here from Florida. He came to visit, so we went to.
Your father lives in Florida now?
Yeah, he's been there for 6 years already.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
he's done. He's retired. He's retired.
Yeah, he's retired. Yeah, so he came up on Thursday, and then yesterday we went to Coimbra. So
I didn't know that. That's
you guys
awesome.
flew all the way to Coimbra to have Leitão and come back, huh? Must be good living Nelson.
Nelson, that's Nelson. He said, "You know what? Why am I going to Iceland this weekend? I'm just going to go to Portugal to Coimbra and drink and get some leitão."
Vou barrada com meu leitão e volto. Hey.
That's right. We are very welcoming to Melões in the Bairrada.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them Sportingistas.
They are, dude. Forget it, dude. One time I was having an argument about soccer in a bar over there where I live. And my uncle is like, "Shut up! Don't say anything. These are all Sportingistas." I'm like, "And what the problem is?" I go watch a Porto Chelsea game with the Chelsea shirt on. I don't give a crap if they're Sportingistas or not.
Well, of course, it's Porto Chelsea. Why would you care if they were Sportingistas? Like.
No. I'm saying I told him I go watch a Porto Chelsea Champions League game with a Chelsea shirt on. So what do I care if I'm talking about bad about Sportingistas in the Bairrada? I don't care.
Tu sabes muito bem que os sportinguistas têm fama de serem inteligentes, simpáticos, boas pessoas. Então, I
Menos
wouldn't
two,
be
menos
scared
two.
either
Okay,
if
okay.
I was you. You know what I mean? Like the other way around, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't take that chance. You know what I mean? It's a different situation. But like,
Olha o McCallum, Evan
well, see, you
Williams.
drink, you
This is
drink
my
until,
McCallum.
yo, I'm not drinking until fucking like I don't know next week or the following week, some shit like that.
Till you win the next championship, 2040. Okay, vais secar
You're
então.
crazy, dude. Like I'm telling you right now, I called it already. We're gonna be champs again next year. That's for sure.
You called it already? I'm gonna
Oh,
write this down.
It's
Can I
over.
write it down?
You can write it down already.
Aqui no papelinho.
Coloca já no papelinho para o ano que vem, May of next year.
Tá aqui, ó. Tá,
Actually,
vou
to be honest
escrever.
with you, I think we'll be champs by April of next year. I don't even think it's going to reach.
Oh my god. Este gajo aqui está passado na
Well, you're
cabeça.
gonna get eliminated very early from Champions League. You won't even make it to the Europa League.
Listen, I don't want to hear excuses next year, like less games and all this bullshit, because we're gonna play group stage against good teams, and so we're gonna have plenty of games, plenty, and we still gotta play the Supertaça against Braga. So it's like we got plenty of games next season.
Be campeão, right?
Be campeão, absolutely. But a nice dream scenario would be for Braga to win Sunday with a goal from Sporar. That'd be fucking.
Oh,
Shut the hell up. Shut up.
Tu já estás bêbado, man.
Dude, Bruno, tell me that would not be a perfect ending to the season.
It
for
would
Benfica.
be. But o Braga ganhar ao Benfica no final da Taça de Portugal. Dude, when they lose, they're still going to celebrate. Everybody wins that day.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. That I agree with you.
Everybody wins. Everybody wins that day. All right, I want to bring up because George mentioned it in his post early today. We do have to talk about the UEFA Cup race. Santa Clara and Guimarães are tied at 43 points. That is the last position for Europa League. But Famalicão, Bolonense, and Moreirense have 40 points going into the last game of the season. Which one do you guys think is going to be the one that survives in sixth place and goes to Europa League? Start with you, George.
I'd love to see Santa Clara doing it.
Really?
Yeah, I think it'll be great for one of these. I don't want to see I think it would be nice. I think it would just be nice, and I think it would be a deserving prize for Santa Clara. They had a really awesome season this season.
They did have a good season. The only thing I question about that, George, is can Santa Clara play in their stadium if it's up for UEFA standards?
They could use their A-team stadium at Estádio da Luz.
Oh, okay. Nelson, same question to you. Which one do you think survives and is actually finishes in sixth place?
Well, Guimarães plays home to Benfica, right? Santa Clara plays who? Home?
Farense.
So I think, yeah.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be Santa Clara, though.
You're also going with Santa Clara, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Bolonense plays at Porto. Moreirense and Famalicão go head to head.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I love Farense to stay up, like I've mentioned that before. But I think Santa Clara will beat them. I really do.
It's going to be, one thing that we got to say, Ivo Vieira did a fantastic job at Famalicão to the point that when he took over the team, they were in dead last. And now they, in the period that he was at Famalicão, not only did he get him out of relegation zone, he's battling for the last spot of UEFA. That's pretty remarkable.
Great job.
I think that's a great job. I don't know how you can argue that. Even if they don't make it, I don't know how you can argue that.
And I like their uniforms, by the way. I don't know. There's something about I like their uniforms.
I get it.
Yeah. That must be it.
Which ones? Whose uniforms?
Famalicão.
Yeah, they have nice uniforms.
Por causa do Macron, já estou a ver por quê.
Hey, talking about coaches? What did you guys think of Pepe leaving Passo Freire?
Hey, you know what? That's actually was a very classy move by the president. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch the press conference that he actually confirmed that he was not staying. I will tell you this: if Pipa is going to go to Guimarães, let's start with the first thing. Paz Ferreira hasn't won a game in I don't know how many weeks now. They've been atrocious down the final third. If Pipa goes to Guimarães, you're talking about going to a burning home. That's a burning home right there. Guimarães is a mess, man. A mess. Nelson, you agree?
I agree. I mean, look where Guimarães was. I remember like half of the season, or maybe a little less before the half of the season. Guimarães was right there with Braga. You know what I mean? And then that team just became a mess, complete mess. Like I agree. It's not a team I would want to coach.
20-point difference between Guimarães and Braga.
That's what I'm saying. And they were like neck to neck for a while. You know what I mean? So it's like it's not a place I would want to coach.
George, same question to you. I mean, do you think that Pipa is a good fit for Guimarães or not so much?
Dude, I don't know, man. At this point, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right move. I mean, I know it's not the right move for him. And I know if he would have waited maybe a year or so, he could get a better job either in Portugal or somewhere else. I know.
But hold on a second.
I don't think
you don't think Guimarães is a good fit. You think he should have gone to a different club.
I think he should have gone to a different club. If he's leaving Passo Ferreira, I think he should have gone to. Look, I think
what's better?
Pipa,
Marítimo?
No, I don't. Why in Portugal? Why in Portugal?
I don't think he has it. I don't think he has it. I don't think he's that great. I mean, he had a good 2
You don't think he's that? You don't think he's that great?
No, I don't. And I'm going to tell you, he had 2/3 of the season that were good, but the final third, when it really mattered, because they really were trying to push for the 4th place spot, and they completely collapsed. I mean, they're 13 points away from Braga, and Braga has been terrible this last third of the season. So,
Braga,
yeah, exactly.
Braga, Passo Ferreira, Guimarães, those teams have been horrible. Like.
So do you know if Carlos Carvalhal is going to stay at Braga?
I think
would Braga not be a better spot than Guimarães for him?
I don't think Carvalhal is going to leave Braga.
No,
I think he might be there for a while. I think he might be.
You never know, right? But you
never
know, right?
You're right. We don't know, but I don't think. But Carvalhal always said that money is not the issue for him; it's the project. And I think what Salvador has presented to Pipa, sorry, not Pipa, Carvalhal, with the project of Braga, that he wants them to take the next step to close the gap for the big three, I think is enticing. Not to mention that academy is now rolling, and he's promoting a lot of youth players. This might be something that might captivate Carvalhal to stay for a long time. And
look,
Carvalhal is the greatest leader.
Carvalhal is not staying in Portugal. Carvalhal wants to go back to the Premier League. Wants to go back to England. He didn't go to Flamengo because of the pandemic, or else he would have been at Flamengo. He's not going to stay at Braga long term.
I think another year. He says, listen, he claims El Cadeira de Swinging, right? It's El Cadeira de Swing deal, El Braga. But we've already seen guys with Cadeira de Swing and they left after a year. So, unfortunately, in soccer, anything can happen.
Yeah, I would have. If I was Pep, I would have stayed in Passo Ferreira until I had a better deal. I don't think Guimarães is the right place. I don't think they have an academy. I don't think they have a first team. I don't think they have a president or administration that supports the coach's ideas about the squad, what the squad looks like. I think it's a horrible decision.
E não tem móveis grátis. O gajo está em Passo Ferreira, tem móveis ao caralho, tem tudo lá feito ao caralho, agora vai embora para Guimarães. Vai fazer castelos ao caralho. Ah, foda-se.
Now, Nelson, I mean, do you think that Carvalhal is going to stay at Braga?
I think he'll be there next season. especially after winning the Taça de Portugal. Like that was a big accomplishment. I think he's staying.
I think the litter curse is gonna return.
We'll find out.
If
might-
you
I
do
might
all
be
of these
surprised.
guys.
Where's the game at? Because they're not doing that. They doing that shit where Leiria or Coimbra? Where they
Coimbra.
Coimbra tem mais encanto.
That would have been. That would have been.
taça.
You should have gone to Portugal to eat some leitão this weekend, not last weekend.
Yeah, and I would have gone there with a Braga shirt. You
need one?
You
need one?
Okay.
You need one.
Oh, I probably do for this weekend. Probably do.
Okay.
I
got two. I got two if
fan
you
this
want
weekend.
one. I got two if you want one. Just swing by.
I don't think that's a team they keep talking shit, but we keep beating them. So I have no issue supporting them.
But
Hey, you know what? They have no issues you beating them either. With $40 million euros that you paid them this season, they'll let you beat them as much as you want.
A gente não paga ninguém, quer dizer.
I have well that's pretty much the UEFA Cup. I wanna bring up this other issue that was a pretty hot topic yesterday. A lot of you guys, I don't know if you guys pay attention to the second division or not. Estoril obviously is the champion. They are moving to the second division. Vizela has clinched, and Aroca has clinched. Now, the only thing they didn't clinch is who's going direct and who's going to the playoff. Vizela plays Vila Franquense, which is down at the bottom, and Aroca plays Chaves, which is up top, but they have no chance of going to the second division. Which one of you guys, or which team would you prefer to see direct into the second division? I'll start with you, Nelson.
Between Vizela
or Aroca.
Honestly, I really don't care. And but Aroca's playing the team where I was born, so Vila Franquense, right?
Which is in last place.
Yeah, that's where I was born. So they suck too. But between the two, I'll probably say Aroca. I would like to see Aroca.
George?
I hate Aroca. I think it's the same direction. The presidents that are there, the president, the son, there are a bunch of douchebags. Yeah, Vizela.
Vizela for you. Okay.
Plus, I don't think Vizela has ever been in the first division, correct?
I don't think they have. I mean, I don't remember. I mean,
you sure?
Nelson is. I don't think they ever have.
I'll check, but I think they might have been. Hold on a second. Hold on.
I don't know about that.
Now, the other controversy is Feirense. So Feirense played Porto B yesterday. Porto B beat them 4-2. The big controversy that, if you guys don't know, is Feirense is protesting the game. Why? Because Porto used, I think, 6 players from the A team. George, do you see a problem with this or no?
Is it illegal?
It is not.
Then there's my answer.
You can use players. Just to kind of give you an idea, Ivan Nielsen was on the bench.
As long as they don't play within, what is it, 72 hours or something like that?
He didn't. No. Yeah, right. He was on the bench at the Rio Ave. He was about to go in. He was about to be subbed on, and then they pulled the card. They said, "No, we're going to cancel the sub. We're going to leave Ivan Nielsen off," and he was going to play against Feirense the next day. Nelson, do you see a problem with this?
No, if it's not illegal, if you're not breaking the law, tough shit. It's not my problem. I got better players, you know what I mean, to put in there. By the way, Vizela was in the first division.
It was
many years ago, 1984.
84. Wow.
Yeah, I remember. I remember. I knew they were.
We have our IT expert as our researcher.
Yeah, no, they were there.
multifunction. Não é só beber cerveja, é trabalhar também.
Mas eu
Isso
não,
é que é.
eu não gosto de Vizela, eu gosto é de Vitela. Vitela que é bom. Que são de
Vitela.
Vizela.
Também gosto de Vitela. Vitela também é bom. Isso é bom.
All right, now down at the bottom of the second division, Academic Viseu, Porto B, Oliveirense, Varzim, Vila Franquense. They're all within 3 points of each other in the final week of the season. And I think it's Varzim and Oliveirense go head to head. Who drops right now, George?
Porto B and Viseu. Let them both drop. All
Porto B
Talibãs.
And who?
Viseu. All Talibãs.
Oh, Academic Viseu. How about you, Nelson? What do you got?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Yes,
so
yes. We
I'm
just
looking
can't
at
watch
the
you.
No, I'm looking at the same. It's actually a mess down there, because you got Oliveirense, Vila Franquense, Varzim, all within 1 point of each other. Porto B with, 2 more points. Man, that's tough. Like not knowing the schedule, but how many teams go down? 3 or
Two. Just
two?
two. Yeah, no playoff.
Man, I would like Vila Franquense to win so that they don't go down, and Varzim go down. Goodbye, and either Oliveirense or Porto B. Doesn't matter to me.
Well,
Those-
Porto B actually plays Benfica B away in the final week.
Oh, okay. That's a tough game.
That's a tough game.
It's a tough game.
So,
How do you guys feel
Yeah.
about having B teams in this? And
well, I'm gonna tell you. Like, I'm gonna give you my opinion. I really believe that the second division actually lost quality with the U23 league. The U23 league has not brought anything positive. You ask a lot of the coaches, or if you listen to a lot of coaches in their interviews, they say that the better players in the U23 would be very much suited and much better for the second division for their development and for the success of the club. And they are insisting on having this U23 league, which is not really benefiting anybody. That's my opinion.
yeah, I mean, it's just too many leagues. I mean, U23, daqui um pouco vamos ter U20, U28, depois U31. I mean, it's like, how many leagues are we gonna? We can barely support the first division. How many leagues are we gonna have? You know what I mean? It's a little, but I don't like B teams. Okay, I saw you just posted that up. I don't like B teams, especially like like another team might go down because of those B teams. You know what I mean? And that kind of bothers me. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Well-
like if you're gonna have B teams, then here's my opinion. You want to keep B teams? I'm okay with B teams because every other country they have B teams also. I'm fine with that. But then you know what? I'll allow those B teams, if they win the league, allow those B teams to go up. I don't give a shit if it's to the first division.
I don't agree with that. I wouldn't
But
agree.
I think not a lot of leagues have B teams. That's number one.
But England does.
Number-
I know England does. and-
Not that. Number two
but-
is have.
A reserve league.
Number two is if you're gonna have a B team, have your own B team league.
League.
So you don't affect other
Exactly.
teams.
That's my point,
Right?
George.
You know what I
This
mean?
way, it's affecting other teams that might go down
Yep.
because they might lose
Yep.
to you in the last week of the season. I don't like that
Because you
I'm
can't
not okay with that.
because you can't go up. You can't go up. You can only go down. So
That's
why
what
the
I mean.
hell
So
are
what's
you?
the- what's
Why
the
the hell
point?
are you playing in a league like that? I think for big teams like us, it's just another source of freaking losing money. It's with these B teams because you're basically telling your or justifying failed purchases by sticking these players in a B team. I don't agree with that.
Well-
And some of them making very good money, by the way. Very good.
Well,
money.
Well,
look at my own team. Look how many players are there that make a ton of money.
I can give you my perspective because Porto B actually does it a little different than what George is talking about. What do I mean by that? So they use it a lot for the development of the player, and also guys that haven't had a lot of minutes on the A, they go down to the B. So, for example, I saw João Mario in that game against Boa Vista where we draw 2-2. He was sent down to the B team, and he was there for a while till he recovered his confidence, and now he's one of the more players that have brought some different dynamic to the A team in these last couple of weeks. Baró has not had a lot of minutes throughout the season. He has been thrown down to the B. He got his confidence up. Now he's starting to see a lot more on the A. Same thing with Fabio Vieira, and so on and so forth. There's also purchases. Hold on, George. There's also purchases that we have bought just for the B.
Don't mute me. Don't mute me.
I will not mute you. I can't promise that I won't ever mute you, but I will not mute
or
you.
Else I'll send you my release form.
So what I wanted to say with the B team, we actually purchased more players for the B team than we did for the A team this year, and it was a lot. But these are guys, young guys that have the potential to maybe one day get to the A team. I hear both sides, but I saw in practice what my club does, and I think it's working right now.
But again, playing devil's advocate, the problem that I have with that is that when you see that Portuguese in like the last place of the B League, then you put 6 or 7 or 8 players from the A team to play on the B League just to kind of make that what's the word? Para tentar reverter essa classificação. And that's wrong because now you're affecting other teams. You know what I'm saying? And if it was my team, I would have said the same thing. You know what I mean? Like if you say, okay, this is my B team, and these are the players that are registered to the B team. I can't swap players in and out. These are the players that are assigned to the B team, and you can't play with it throughout the year. Then I would say, you know what? Okay, this doesn't affect this. This is not going to affect other teams. But when you see your team, or when I see my team in last place, and I say, you know what? I'm Benfica, I'm Porto, I'm Sporting. I can't have a team. It doesn't matter if it's the A team, B team, C team, or D team, being the last place of the league. So in order to revert that, I'm going to take 6, 7, or 8 players out of my A team, and I'm going to play them in the B team. So then I'm going to get the results needed to bring my standings up. Now you're affecting other teams, and I think that's an incorrect. That's not a that's not fair play. You could say.
I think the only solution.
My opinion.
I think the only solution is what you mentioned before: B team league only, and at least these guys will celebrate titles. They'll be happy if they win. You know what I mean? Or but you cannot be affecting other teams. I hate that. I don't like that. I just don't like it. Like it really bothers me.
Well, to answer Bruno's question, why do they even want to stay in the second division? It really comes down to competitions, like I was saying. When you started this U23 league, you took away a lot of really good players that could be, for example, isn't Sporting B going to be moving up? Isn't that right? They're moving up to the second division, aren't they?
Because they dropped like 2 seasons ago, whatever.
Right,
yeah.
But now they're moving up.
Yeah, but
am I right, Nelson?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Isn't that the best academy in the world?
Well, yes. That's what they say, right?
Ever.
How many second division titles do you guys have?
Oh my god! Like I give a shit about second. Are you kidding me right now?
With or without smoking the good stuff.
Don't make it. What do you got one? What do you got one for the B?
Listen, I don't care if our B team gets fucking despromovido para fucking Liga do Iraq. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Like
as long as they win once in every 19 years.
19 years.
I don't think I've ever watched a big game ever.
Listen.
Never.
I enjoy watching them because you get to see the younger players that have some talent, and you get to see how their development is going. But again, also going back to what George said, and this is where I disagree with him, is you got a player that's recovering from a long injury. He wants to come back. You need him back. He's never going to get that rhythm playing 10, 15 minutes, 5 minutes on the A team. So he has to go to the B team. He has to put in the time, and then when he's back to speed, game shape, then he can start getting called to the A team. So I think that's the purpose.
But that's that's not what happens, though. That's not what happens. That's not what's been happening with Porto. You know
No,
that's not
Porto-
what's happened to Porto.
No, we've done it with Marcano. He was playing there.
Well,
And then
okay,
he got
okay.
he got re-injured.
What was the injury with Ivan Nielsen? What was the injury
He
with
wasn't getting minutes.
Barra?
He wasn't getting minutes.
But
That's different. That's different.
by the way, just
You know what I
Sports,
mean? You're
he's right about
affecting
Sport.
you're affecting the what's the word? You know, it now it's not a real league. Now it's not real standings. You're affecting the what's the freaking word that I'm looking for? Nelson, help me. Come on. The
Integridad,
integrity,
caray.
not exactly. Now you're affecting the integrity of the league and the standings, and that's what I have a problem with. And it doesn't matter what team it is; it could be my team. That's what I have an issue with.
Well, we definitely have different views on this topic, which makes it very entertaining. Nelson, you wanted to say something.
If
I was gonna say,
you have a
just-
league
just
just
Bucks,
if you have
reality.
if you have a league just for B teams, then you don't have these arguments. Then you can do all that stuff that you're talking about. A player is injured, you could bring him down, almost like the minor leagues in baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Is this the one you're talking about, Nelson?
Yeah, he's right about that. Yeah, they go into the third, and the academy plays in the Liga Professional.
Because you have a lot of young guys, like really young, 17, 16-year-old guys playing in the Liga Revolução, which is the U23 league.
Yeah.
So, and then we see this all the time. You know, guys that are playing U19, they're playing on the B team, and then when the season ends, they're going to go play for the U19s and the U18s and so on and so forth.
It's just the problem is, you know, who created all this problem. The teams that created this problem, Benfica, Porto, Sporting, because we have more purchasing power, and we buy tons of garbage fucking players because we think every year we need to purchase 55 fucking players, and then we don't have enough teams to put these players in, and then all this shit gets created so we can rotate that because we control everything. So we get all these other teams created so we can put our players everywhere, and then you end up with a mess like this.
I'll tell you what you know it's the bottle effect, okay? The bottleneck effect. So what really happened was this: when the clubs put the limit on loans. So for example, any club that wants to loan players, you can only loan 3 players in the entire division. That's it, only 3. Sporting can only select 3 of their players for the entire division. That is where things went wrong because you have a young guy, for example. I'll just use my club for example. Baró this year in January, he would have been loaned out to some club and he would have finished half the other season at some club and he would probably play a lot of minutes, valuable minutes in the first division. Same thing with, for example, I'm just using him as an example. João Mario, he would have been loaned out somewhere else. Sporting might have loaned out. Who knows? Quaresma. He would have been loaned out somewhere and he would have gotten valuable minutes. Benfica would have loaned out Thiago Dantas, for example. I know he's at Bayern Munich. He barely played. He played on the B team. But he would have played in the first division somewhere that would have given him valuable minutes. And we're not doing that now because of this of the new rule. And they got it. This is what it also starts with the whole, again, George, with the integrity. So I loan out a player to you. I'm paying his salary to play against me. No, the loan player should not play against the parent club. I agree with
that's the rule though already.
I know that's the rule, but I'm saying there shouldn't be just three loans per club because we have like Nelson says, and we have a lot of purchasing power, but we have to loan out.
I actually agree with that rule.
I agree too.
Yeah, but because remember, at the same time, Bruno, if there was no rule on limit on loans, some of these teams they wouldn't buy any players. They would just take loans from Porto, Benfica, and Sporting. You know, and
they could put a limit. They could put a limit on per club or something like that, or that's I'm okay with that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, things got to change. I mean, it's just too many. Oh man, it's just too many players. Too many players. It's like too many teams, too many leagues. It's just crazy. Like
I looked at Benfica. I think we had like freaking in our total in the whole club, we had like 70 or 80 players that were on the payroll. I'm like,
That's what I'm
what the
saying.
hell is
That's
like? It's
insane.
ridiculous.
That's
Ridiculous. I
insane.
mean, we have a player. We have a player in the B team that he's been playing for Benfica for like 3 years. We purchased him for 3 years ago, and we paid like 8 million euros for him. And he's hardly played a game in the A team.
Who's that?
And he's considered one of the top 100
Murato?
prospects. Yeah, one of the 100 prospects in the world. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then you go out and you freaking purchase, 33-year-old for 15 million euros.
Our
That's the
teams
stuff
have
that pisses.
our teams have more
That's the
players
team that
than
pisses me
NFL
off,
teams.
dude.
NFL
That's
teams
the
have less
stuff.
players than we do.
That's the stuff that pisses me off, man.
All right, well, let's pick the last week of the season, round 34. Porto Belenenses, I'll start. Belenenses has nothing to play for, really. I don't think. Actually, you wait. No Marega, so I'm going to say Porto brings up the goals. 3-0 Porto. Nelson, you're in blue. Go ahead.
I'll go 2-0 Porto.
George.
0-0.
Epa. Vitória de Guimarães, Benfica. Jorginho. Como é que fica?
3-1.
For who?
Guimarães?
Dutch national team.
How about you, Nelson?
I think Benfica will win. Actually, I think Benfica will win 2-1.
Yeah, Guimarães is a mess. Benfica wins 4-0. Sporting Marítimo, Nelson, nothing to play for against Marítimo.
I didn't play 4. I think
A lot of new players. He's gonna call up a lot of new players.
Yeah, I still think we win comfortably. I think we win 1-0. Comfortably.
What do you got?
For which game is that?
Sporting and Marítimo.
Campeão Marítimo.
Campeão Marítimo Porto. I mean Marítimo Sporting. If I look at the history, right? We look at the history. Sporting Sport.
No history either.
Filing da Madeira. 2-1 Marítimo.
Like he makes
2-1 Marítimo. Wow. Sporting ends on a two game losing streak. I don't see that happening, but I do see a draw. Sporting 2, Marítimo 2. All right, guys. That is it for this week.
No, let's pick the Taça de Portugal. We got to pick that one.
Oh, we do have to pick that one because we'll be back after the fact.
Exactly.
So I'll start with you, George. Vais ganhar a equipa B ou não?
4-0 Benfica.
Yep.
No. I'll give Braga a goal. 4-1.
4-1. Okay. Nelson.
Braga 2, Benfica 1. Sportar scores the winning goal.
92nd minute.
Hopefully 98 minutes. Like
Heartbreaker.
Like Jesus de joelhos outra vez.
Joelhos outra vez.
Oh, beautiful.
The beautiful sight. There's no way that Braga is going to win this game. No way. Okay. When there's a taça on the line against Benfica, they are not winning this game. Braga 0, Benfica 3.
I like that. Destruição.
It's just not going to happen.
Eu quero ir para a festa, like Bruno said. Vim para a festa.
Not happening. Oh, the assist from Borja? Is that who you want on the game-winning assist, Nelson?
Oh my God, that'd be. Oh, listen, if that shit happens, we can do the show Monday. We can start 9 a.m. and do a 12-hour show. Let's fucking enjoy it.
You're just gonna drink on the show all day long.
Oh, I'll drink on the show.
Hey, should we also talk about the Portuguese national team? Bruno's favorite, the Portuguese national team convocatória for the Euro for this year.
Let's do. Monday.
They did it.
It's gonna be Wednesday. It's gonna be Wednesday.
Thursday.
Thursday. I'm sorry, Thursday.
We'll discuss that Monday.
Yeah, let's discuss that. You know, we got to analyze. I know that Andres Silva was probably not going to be called, even though he was a top.
No, he'll be called. He'll be
Better be
called.
called.
We'll
Otavio
see.
better. Otavio better not be called.
I don't think any Porto player should be called to the national team. To be honest, they need
Shut
to
up, dude.
for next season.
Mesmo tá
No
ali,
cap, no Sergio Oliveira, no Otávio, nobody. Epá, deixa-me todos em casa.
Listen,
You
I
mean?
think
Oh,
if,
you mean Otário? Otário?
Otávio.
Oh, okay.
I do think if we want to be champs, I think it should be all Sporting players. I do agree there. So you know, but
They can't play a couple days a week.
yeah, you're right. I understand. I get it. I get it.
Não tem,
Alright,
não tem
guys.
as pernas. Não tem as pernas, só tem a língua.
Martinez. Yeah, Nelson's ready for bed. We
I'll
all
see you
tucked him in
guys
today.
Monday. You know, after Braga wins the cup,
Are you going to be red or are you going to be crimson? That's the question.
I'm gonna what?
Listen,
Red or crimson on Monday?
Red. I'll be red.
listen,
Red.
Nelson. We're gonna beat Braga, and we're gonna whip your ass in the Super Taça with no excuses. Then, not that the
Alright,
championship is already won. Then we're gonna see who's what.
From your mouth to God's ears, because I think you guys are in for a shock. I think Braga's been playing like shit, so they could save themselves. For the
Oh, they're
Taça.
saving themselves.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's an interesting twist. I thought that myself for a little bit. I'm like, wait a
call-
minute. We are
call-
talking
a call-
about Benfica in this one.
A Covid-19 já foi em janeiro.
All right.
Nelson, put this in your head. Braga only gets up for 2 games a year. It's against Porto, and that's it. Nobody else.
No, Sporting too. They play Sporting tough over
But
there.
they try.
No. Against Sporting, they get robbed every game, so it's not even worth them getting up for it.
Of
Nelson-
course they get robbed. Red card
Nelson,
17 minutes into the game.
You are a betting man, I remember, right? Who's
Yes.
going to be the referee for this one? Is it going to be Godinho? Vai ser o racista Godinho.
No, we don't want to go.
I think it will be. It should be. It probably will be.
If it's Godinho, it's a guaranteed win for me.
You know, it's going to be Artur Soares Dias. So shut the hell up.
No, it won't be him. He's
I don't think so either.
persona non grata.
Either that one or we don't want no Fabio Barissimo in that crap.
Oh, wait a minute. You might be right. It might be Artur Soares Dias because isn't this his last year?
He's retiring, right?
Oh,
well,
so
no,
they
he's
might
done
do
with
that.
his age.
Hallelujah. He could be Pedro Proença's assistant now.
Well, no, the Duarte Gomes is making a run at that. Be
Yeah,
careful.
okay.
Well,
Be careful.
we'll see Monday. I know.
All right,
what's
guys.
gonna happen.
Nelson, have a good night. We all tucked you in. George, have a good week. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys.
As for everybody else, hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you all next week. Ciao, Laura.
Ciao,
Chilling.
ciao.